kind of shenanigans are going on here? Yeah, believe it or not, I can see you, even though I'm wearing these. I can see you right here. See? So welcome. Come on in. And just waiting on Mr. Bell to get here. I'm not sure if he's going to be wearing his gogs or not. Let's find out. What's up, Mr. Bell? I'm fully geared. I'm geared and ready.
I see that.
Yeah, I've got a virtual desktop going here.
All right.
And so I'm basically seeing a whole theater before me of desktop goodness.
Oh, so are you able to see the? Is that like Microsoft thing? Did you port like the HoloLens thing over there, or what?
No, I'm using Steam VR.
Okay.
And basically, it's a free application through Steam, which does a lot of games, and it allows me to do a virtual desktop through virtual reality. And welcome to those of you joining us. It's Joel Comm here with my special guest, Ryan A. Bell, a complete VR freak.
Nerd.
So the downside to wearing these is you can't see my eyes, right?
And you have really good eyes. Yeah, I have a level of distrust now.
Yeah, because I'm hiding.
Yeah.
But the good news is that you're larger than life, because in wearing this VR headset, you are actually it's like sitting in a movie theater with 100, I don't know, whatever it is. It looks like a 110-inch screen in front of me, but what's around me is nebulas. Like the background for all this is outer space.
I know I'm being really loud here, but I just did some unboxing.
You did.
Yeah.
So I'm here. I really am here, and it's such a different experience. Virtual reality, my friends, is a big deal. Okay, so what is it you got here?
This is actually my favorite because I'm a dad. It's the Merge VR. I think their Twitter handle's @MergeVR. But it's one of those where you can put your phone in here, and it's made out of foam. So on their front page, it shows. Oh God, I got Brian Fanzo here. Look at this.
Yo, what's up, iSocial?
I just got blab bombed by Fanzo.
Dude, I'll see you in person in a couple days.
Yeah. So yeah, I like that thing because it's made out of foam, and on their Twitter page, they've got a video of them dropping it with a phone in it, like 3 or 4 stories, and then they take the phone out. They're like, ta-da! Which I'm afraid to do that like live stream because it'll end up jacking it up. But this thing, like, check it out. It has 2 buttons up top, and then you can move the lenses around and everything like that. It's pretty legit, and it's comfy. And because I have kids, it I don't know. It's foam, so they're not going to beat themselves in the head with it or anything like that.
We don't want anybody beating themselves in the head.
Yeah. So I just.
What are you wearing? You've got your own Twitter shirt.
Oh, you're gonna really hate this too. Hold on, let me turn around.
Live shirt. Do I get a custom Summit Live shirt? Nice. And your snap code on the back.
What is up with that? You want one of those there, Joel Comm?
Well, I have a snap code shirt where the snap code's on the front, but I like it being on the back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm doing some. Well, Fanzo requested some underpants with his snap code on the behind.
So I see behind you. I have a feeling there's a sponsorship going on here, and I see Mark Go With is Go With Us. Get a .live domain.
Yeah. I put that up a while back when they I don't know. It's kind of sad because I do, when I have a sponsor, I do think that I probably shouldn't do. Like if my computer wasn't plugged in, I've got like the Dot Studio and the Dot Live sticker on my personal computer, which is like, something that you wouldn't usually do for a sponsor. You know what I mean? Like, but I really like that. Like, I love that Fandor's right back here.
Yeah, and not only that, he just joined. It's like all meta. Like he sat down on the sofa behind you, and then I saw it pop up that he's live. So welcome, blabbers. Those of you that are still here in the once great blab.im. This is actually going to be the final Joel Comm show on blab.im.
Sanzo, he said that this is going to be the final Joel Comm blab show.
I am going to be doing a final Blab Talk live with Vincenzo in about a week or so, and we're gonna make it a celebration of Blab. We're gonna invite everybody. We're talk about the good old days, and I think a temporary location for moving is going to be Huzzah. Perhaps looks like or Huzzah, however you want to say it.
Huzzah. It has more oomph to it.
I like Huzzah better. But yeah, clearly, the rumors are, and they are rumors, that the plug may be pulled soon on this.
And there goes all my 2,200 or whatever followers that equate to 19 viewers.
Well, I have almost 80,000 followers. So
how much would you trade those for monetarily now? How much?
What, on Blab?
Yeah.
That and a nickel.
That and a nickel.
Yeah, but we're here to talk virtual reality,
right? And I'm excited.
I'm geeking out because I've been playing with this baby for about 3 weeks now.
Right.
This is an Oculus Rift. You want to see something cool? So when you look at an Oculus, you just see the black plastic, right?
Yeah.
Look at what happens when you put some light on it.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
I saw it because I was showing somebody. I'm like, wait, what is that? I don't see those. But with the light on it, you see the sensors, and there they are on the side too.
Legit.
In the top. So that's how it knows. This is the base station right here.
Right.
And it sits right over here on my desk, and it's looking at these sensors to determine location and movement. Look, they're all over it.
That's awesome.
Isn't it cool? Look at all of them. It's like stars in the sky.
I'm more of a Vive guy than an Oculus guy, but I mean the tables will probably turn when all of the games and all of the titles come out. Like that's. But then again, all the titles are open for Vive now via Oculus. Did you know that? Like everything's open, which I think is appropriate. I don't know. I think Vive's a better machine. Better.
So I haven't used one.
You're joking.
No, I haven't used one yet. I bought an Oculus several months ago. It shipped last month. I got it finally, and that's what I've been using. So I'm looking forward to trying a Vive.
So what is your favorite experience in VR? What is your first prompt?
I don't know if there's a favorite yet. I've had a few jaw-dropping moments. Some of them were just in the demos.
Yeah.
He says he'll be right back.
Yeah, he does. I have to pay him $100 an hour just to sit in the background.
But the one that really strikes me as the most relevant is the one that's tied to social, alt space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I logged on to my Oculus just a few days ago, and there was a new program out called Alt Space. And I've been saying for some time, as have you, that we're going to be entering into virtual spaces with other people and seeing avatars of them and able to navigate that space. And the closer we are to them, the louder they'll get. And we'll be able to do things like play games or go places in this virtual world. Well, AltSpace VR has arrived. And we're seeing the very beginnings of it. I launched this thing and I see this house and there's people, avatars standing in there, and I walk up to them. The closer I get using my Xbox controller, the louder they get. And this guy waves to me, "Hey, come over here." He's waving. And I step in front of him and the guy's talking to me, a real dude, and he's moving his arms and his legs, which I can't do with the Oculus. I said, "What are you doing?" He's like, it's a bodysuit and it detects all the movements. He says, "Tell me to do something." I said, "Put your hands over your head." The avatar's hands go up. I say, "Do splits." He does splits the best that, a guy can. That to me is the most jaw-dropping. Oh my gosh, the virtual worlds are here. Second Life in virtual space has.
I think that's a really amazing thing, especially from the social aspect. Thinking about what's going to happen when, say, you have a group of summer camp counselors that haven't seen each other in a long time, and then you can gather around the literal virtual fireplace, the literal digital fire, or campfire for that matter. My first experience, I think, was kind of similar to a lot of people. At CES this year, I was speaking on the changing landscape of technology, and directly after I did my speech, I went and put on HTC Vive and experienced the tilt brush. And the tilt brush, I think, is, because your tilt brush is, so think of Microsoft Paint from when was that, 1989 or something?
Yes.
So if you really think about 1989, which is, I'm not very good at math, but I think it's 75 years ago, if you do the math correctly in tech terms. When I got in there and I started to draw in a physical 3D space, and then realized that I could reach through my own drawings, and started thinking about the fact that I could create a slip that could be a portal or a vortex or opening to another dimension in that reality, it really set my mind on fire and really inspired me. And so post CES, I already had interest in VR. I'd already been talking to Mr. Robert Scoble about this stuff for a long time. But after that, it was I just had this click. I was like, okay, everybody's made all this amazing hardware, and it's kind of ready. I'm not going to say it's completely ready, but it's kind of ready. And people like me that are the creative types are going to be able to really move it forward faster, because we're going to be the people that are going to play with these beginning things and then make it go forward and say, hey, this is really cool. This is what I'd really like to see. And then that's when it goes forward. And that's what is continuously exciting for me and makes my job and what I do every day, I can't wait to find out what's going on, because that's how quick it's moving. It's not every week. It's not every month. Can you imagine? I can't imagine living back when we had to rely on newspapers or something like that. Right now, it's every day, man. It's amazing.
Yeah. So, people ask me, how do you use it? And I'm like, well, there's the social aspect and there's the games and there's the storytelling, but there's a lot of practical, real world applications that VR is going to come in handy for. What are some of the things that you've seen that that you think VR is going to be literally life changing, or maybe even life saving?
Oh, medical in a big way. And
how so? How does that work? Try to define a very specific medical use.
So there was, in New York, there was this big convention. They were showing me a way that you could look inside of a patient and everything. So let's even bring it back to something that's already happened. So being able to go inside the chamber of a heart, take pictures, and then they used a Google Glass, a doctor did, for a young boy who was suffering and all this stuff. And so they were able to visualize what they had to do. And then they were able to 3D print what they needed to 3D print to save this child's life. And then from an educational standpoint, I was just at NASA, and we're talking about the Mars rover. The rover is, nobody really knows how big it is, but I do now, because it's there are people that know, but it's as big as like maybe two school buses side by side, or not quite that big, but like somewhere around there. And if they need to lift that up and hoist it up and get under it, that's a priceless thing, right? But with the HoloLens or something, they can lift that up in augmented reality and practice it and get ready for it when they really need to do it. So it's not just practice; it's learning. There's a million different technology and different ways for us to kind of think about that. So it's a big buggy. I like that, Fireman Rich. So those are a ton of the reasons that I'm so excited. What have you seen in that aspect?
So from the I'm such a gamer that I come at it from entertainment perspective, and the things that have me excited are the immersive games,
right,
the social aspect, and from the other entertainment angle, how soon we're going to be buying virtual tickets to events. You can now, like sometimes you have pay-per-view at home, right? And some of the theaters have those events where you can go see a concert by sitting in the theater and paying for entry. Well, pretty soon you'll be able to buy a ticket to, we'll just say, Taylor Swift concert, okay? And you'll put on your Oculus, and the camera that's at the show will be front and center, so that when she's bending down to shake the hands of the person in the front row, she will be right there shaking your hand in your face, singing to you. Only you could be 1 million people that are buying that front row seat for the closest experience you'll ever have. You might not ever be able to afford that front row seat or have the opportunity to see her in the front row or whatever band, but for the price of what, $20, $30, you'll be able to put your headset on with the stereo in your ears and have that experience the closest you'll ever have it to reality.
Yeah, it's amazing. There have been times when I've had, and I'm sure you've had these experiences too, Joe, where you get in a virtual experience and you realize that you're not even breathing. Like you're just, and it's just, it's amazing. So one of the first big ones that was done right was the Paul McCartney concert at Candlestick Park, and Jaunt VR did that. So, I'm going to give you guys a few names of people to follow because I think that they're important. So Jaunt VR is a leader, and they made the first really quality camera, and there's not really one that's out there that is up to that caliber yet. We're talking about stereoscopic, we're talking about multi-cameras. It's not just this prosumer level. It's the only real camera that has professional quality. But I was standing up on stage with Paul McCartney, basically. If you really think about it that way, I'm standing there. I'm just like, holy crap, this is amazing. And then they switched camera views to being like right above the stage where you can look out at the audience. And because it had the right amount of cameras, we'll go into stereoscopic a little bit. I'll just explain it really quickly right now. So if you have two cameras that are similarly placed to your eyes, then you get more depth of field. It's kind of a tricky thing to do correctly because you can't emulate that exactly because Joel's eyes are very, very far apart. But it gives you that depth to where you have this 3D feeling because it is 3D. It's not just flat 360 video on each side. So it's really breathtaking when you see high quality. I think that's where we're going. Right now we're at this very kind of lo-fi time in VR. I call it the junkyard phase because it's this feeling of having to, instead of going to the Toyota dealership to get a Toyota, you're going to the junkyard and picking out pieces to make a car. And that's kind of the feeling that you get in VR right now.
But this is a sophisticated device.
Oh, it is.
This is not like I have one of those other headsets where you put your phone in. I'm going to see if I can actually do a screen share on Blab of my Oculus. Let me see if I can make this happen. This will be a first, I think, for Blab, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. It would, and a last probably.
Yeah, be a first and last. So let me go to my library, and I think I need to turn. Let's see. Let's try photos. Okay.
While you figure that out, I'm going to answer this question for David.
Yes.
David,
You answer all the questions.
David Werba asks, you guys going to cover the best options for VR equipment for those just starting out? All right. So if you have a Samsung phone, like the S7 or higher, anything S7 or whatever, the Gear 360 is probably your best bet. I always think about barrier of entry. It is $350 and it auto stitches. It's brilliant. It's wonderful. It's a great piece of machinery. I bought 4 of them while I was at VidCon. And then the Views camera is coming out, and that's $360. That's $800. So different barrier of entry, but potentially higher quality. I only know of one person that has played with one of the prototypes that doesn't work at the company, and I wouldn't buy it until I was able to put my hands on it, but it should be out by the end of next month. And let's see what else. Those are, on the camera side. That's
the Stream Deck.
Oh my! Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Let me see if I can work this out while you're doing that.
That's on the camera side. On the VR equipment side, I would definitely say, did Brian steal my? Oh, I was about to say, I thought Brian might have stolen it. So, to really get your groove on, if you're Stella, then get like a Google Cardboard, which is like $10 or $20, or get something nicer that you can do the mobile VR. And like I like the Merge VR, it's 79 or 80, something like $80. But it's good for sliding your phone in and using. And then you move all the way up to the HTC Vive or the Oculus. And then,
right, this is a $599 device.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not letting me share. It's like I'm getting a plain white space. I mean, I see the screen that I want to share, but when I try to share it via Blab, it's not working. So there are some limitations here, unfortunately.
Dude, they have the Merge VR at Target. That just seems weird. Like that. I mean, that's great, but it shows that the people in my realm aren't just nerds in a little bubble here in LA and San Francisco.
We're all nerds in a bubble.
For the masses. So for the masses, 100%, it's going to be something like the Google Cardboard. They gave out the first slew of Google Cardboards. They gave out 1 million of them for the New York Times. And Google, man, they're going hard. All these companies are going hard. I can't wait to see what Apple does. And if Apple doesn't do something at their next big release, I'm going to be really surprised because they only do big releases once a year. And
Can you see that?
I can. That's pretty dope. But it's black and white.
I had to go full screen, so I can't see you at all. But if you can see that, I should be able to demo a little bit here.
Yeah, go ahead and demo that. That's pretty cool.
So this is the Dream Deck, which is basically a series of demos that are in Oculus, and you say I can look around here, and it's a different experience in 2D, obviously. So what you're going to see on screen is what I'm looking directly at. So here I am in a museum, and
go really slow. The frame rate is
there's a T-Rex at the end of the hall, and he's coming my way. It's the first time I did this, I have to admit, it was very uncomfortable and a little freaky because there he is, and he's very big, and he's very angry, and he's spitting crap at me.
Yeah, and guys that are listening or watching, please remember that if you die in virtual reality, you die in real life. That's how it works, right, Joel? He's not even paying attention.
And there he goes. So that's a let me minimize this here. Let me show you one more, and then I'll take this off.
Okay.
And then we can actually have a conversation. So this one is just like a cityscape, a futuristic city. And let's see if it loads up. Tell me, can you see that?
Yes, I can. Wow, that looks really good. I have not seen this one before.
So what's really freaky is when we look down.
Yeah. Because I'm scared of heights. Every experience that requires heights, that has heights in it, scares the living bejesus out of me.
Yeah, it's very freaky. It's very cool. I'm bumping into the microphone because you really feel like you're here in this place. And I've had other people put this on and look at this and they're like, whoa, and they don't want to move because they're afraid if they step forward, they're going to fall off the edge. But then they take off their the headset and they realize that, hey, I'm just in this room here. I haven't really gone anywhere.
Yeah, no, it is weird. I was talking to Nick Ochoa, who is the one of the co-founders for Upload VR. We're working on a super secret VR project right now, and we're talking about the entryway. You know, like everybody still has this Netflix layout, which doesn't seem right to me. But coming into a VR thing is always this slamming open of a door and then leaving it as this slamming shut of a door, and it's too much too quick. And I think there should be a vestibule or a lobby or a lounge or something like that when you first come in, where it's blue and comforting, and there's globes where you're able to pick your experience instead of stare at something until a circle goes around. I think that there's a space for somebody to find this kind of beginning Windows type of thing. Like we referred to it as a Siri on peyote, a calming voice that says, "Come into this new world," that type of thing. Because
welcome to the future.
Yeah, welcome to the future. Yeah, or something. Yeah, I think yours was better, but there's just in VR in general, I think there's just so much to do. There's just so much to do, and that's what makes it so much fun for people like us.
Talk about VR Salon and what your dream and vision is for how to advance positive VR.
Positive VR. So my basic goal is to help creators out and help people to realize that we're all kind of in this together. Sharing ideas. You'll notice me, I share ideas that could potentially mean big bucks or take some money away from me because somebody else could take that idea and run with it. But the point is to put those ideas out there. And with VR Salon, and it's pretty simple, it's just follow at VR Salon on Twitter, is we do get-togethers every month or every 2 months where we have some VR creators that get around and we talk about a certain thing that's going on in the landscape at that time. What I want it to become is more of a platform for teaching others, having like VR directors teach how to act in VR, teaching screenwriters how to have this appropriate thing, because I'm starting to see all these screenwriters do screenplays in very different ways. Like there's this guy named Elliot who runs Film Addicts, and he writes 4 different quadrants for a screenplay, just as though there's 4 different stages, and I think that's pretty brilliant. But I've also talked to other screenwriters like Yvonne who are doing it completely differently, and if we work on this together as creatives, then we can create in a better and more organized way. So that's kind of the goal.
I love it, and there's a group right on Facebook. People can join the VR Salon to keep up with that. I have now nobody's told me what this looks like. This is just how I envision cinema of the future, VR cinema of the future. That instead of a theater where there's a screen in front of you, you'll pay to go into a room where you will put on a headset and your seat will swivel full 360.
Right.
And filmmakers will make experiences, so that, like, let's say Lord of the Rings was made in in VR 360, okay, you could be looking at whatever is being filmed rather than being forced to look at Frodo. You could turn over here instead and focus on Sam, or you could turn and see Mount Doom off in the distance and absorb that experience the way that you want to, rather than being forced, say, okay, now you're going to watch this person, now you're going to watch them, now you're going to see this scenery. And the way we consume motion pictures will be a different experience every time we see it, because you can only take in so much. You know how we watch movies? I got to go back and watch it again because I missed fill in the blank, right?
Right.
Imagine, going to see Star Wars in your indie universe in 360. You'll miss so much every time you see it because there's always more going on around you. Thoughts? No thoughts?
No, I agree. And you were making me think of, like an Omnipad type of thing. Oculus made the run, walk, and jump thing. What you made me think of was if there was, a furniture manufacturer that had interest in doing this, what would that be? At South by Southwest, they had a swiveling chair that you're able to do that, but the future will be more along the lines of some kind of, Omnipad where you're able to walk and it's a treadmill, multi-directional treadmill or something. A donut stopping you from running into the walls or something like that, because we're based.
I want a circular thing that I can stand in,
right,
that has padding around the edges, because I can't tell you saw me do it. I bumped my head looking down over the ledge in that futuristic city. I clonked my head on my microphone, and there's other times I bumped into my desk. So I'm like, I need space and I need boundaries.
Yeah, David says that they already have those, and they do. But
it's called a playpen.
Yeah, it's like an adult playpen. But it's funny because VR is literally turning us into these, these FPS shooter characters, like in Wreck-It Ralph, when they walk into a wall, they keep walking. I mean, we're going to be bumping into walls. That's how I walk. Obviously, nobody's ever seen me walk on live stream because I'm usually sitting down.
So I have some concerns, and I think they're legitimate concerns.
Oh, no.
And it's the dark side of VR.
Yes.
If I were a therapist, a counselor, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, I would be boning up now on VR addiction, because we are going to lose people into VR worlds, unlike any type of addiction we've ever seen with computing. Would you agree?
I would agree. And I mean, look at the dystopias that have pointed these things out. A lot of dystopias are right. If you haven't read Ready Player One yet, that's a
great novel.
Brilliant novel. Steven Spielberg's changing that into a movie that should be out, I think, by year's end or maybe beginning of next year. Or even WALL-E. Like think about WALL-E. Do you remember the movie WALL-E, where everybody is sitting in the moving chairs and they're so detached? I think that's a real thing that you have to worry about, and I think that people are, especially their children, they're going to have to start being like when we were kids. You get an hour or 2 hours in VR, just like TV. It's even further removed. How are we going to police what our children are doing in VR when we can't see the screen from the kitchen or from our office chair or whatever? It's a different world right now, and you're completely right to be afraid, because right now that's one of the reasons that I'm kind of in what I'm in, is because we can kind of make the future be what we want it to be if we're involved in the making of it.
Do you remember in Minority Report? Let's really go to the dark side here, okay? In Minority Report, his character is walking, through into a shady part of town, and he walks by what appears to be a sex shop. And you see a video of a guy in a chair with a headset on and in a bodysuit, basically being virtually stimulated by what he sees as surrounded by women. The porn industry is going to latch on to VRs. We talk about the dark underbelly, the seedy underbelly of this whole thing. They're already making peripherals. I remember at CES, there was a display. I mean, I don't even know if they have an adult section at CES anymore. I just remember out there in the open of these devices you could buy that connect to your phone that you can remotely. What's going to happen? So my fear in all of this is that we lose real human interaction.
So I agree, and coming from when you actually had to masturbate to like the Sears catalog when I was a kid, to now
Is that what your choice was?
Well, I mean, I'm from Georgia. That's basically the only place I could.
Couldn't find a Playboy.
That's where I could find like the brassiere section. But I'm getting at, I'm kind of exaggerating the wankitude. I'm sorry. Hey, you went there. The wank.
I know I did, but it's important to have these discussions because it's a reality.
Yeah, we have to have these discussions because that's real. Porn always comes to the forefront when there's money to be made. And if you look at live streaming, okay, so I'll put it this way. I was helping a company to make a live streaming app, and they were talking about engagement. And so I opened up a porn site with some other people in the room, and we were in a WeWork, in a big conference room in a WeWork. And
when you say opened up, you don't mean you started one.
No. I mean,
you went to one.
We went to one, and we had it on the screen. But the models that they make, we have to copy what they do well and try to do better than they do, because they were the smartest to come up with using like 740p, and then saying if you do the subscription base, then you get it up to 1080. And that's the first time I was like that's a really genius move in VR to monetize, because it's the teaser, and then you need to have that quality of video to be able to enjoy whatever content you're taking in. Porn because porn and gambling websites are highest grossing worldwide. That's completely true.
Yeah, it's disconcerting, and there's no way to stop it. It's going to happen. And what you said earlier is really important, that it comes down to teaching our kids. Here's the problem with that. As adults, we grew up watching TV, so we had a point of reference in which to teach our children, here are boundaries we're going to set. But what happened in 2007 is these came out, and then social media happened. Mm-hmm. And so we have a generation of adults, multiple generations of adults, that didn't grow up with social media, that are just trying to figure out for themselves and screwing it up royally, being completely inappropriate, not having good boundaries. And so how do you have adults that don't know how to use this teaching children when they don't have enough experience? VR comes out, again, a generation of adults that have no idea. And so how do you hand down to the next generation, here's how we do this? Right. That's problematic.
It is very much so. And what scares me even more as we talk about this is, the really evil, shitty people that are going to do something in public forums or in social spaces where you're just going to learn, or to these lounges or vestibules where they put something that's just specifically to scare you, or they find out some information and come on as you or whatever. I mean, you're talking about Google putting out lenses, and then people being able to track you and hack your lenses. I mean, this sounds like Minority Report, but it's stuff that's going to be happening within the next quarters. It's insane. Protective measures are going to be really difficult. One of my friends, Steve Yoon, is talking to Congress right now about protection and rights in VR. And I mean, I like to be a part of these conversations just because I can imagine how bad it can get. But trying to make the good parts of it is what I really want to do, because the better I can make it, then the more it can rise above. I don't know. It's just hard. It's scary. I didn't realize that we were going to have this part of a conversation, Joel. I thought this was going to be fun. Now you're going to make me cry.
Oh, I don't want to make you cry. Well, but here's the thing. Technology is amoral. It's neither good nor bad in itself. It comes down to how we use it. And that's why I wanted to talk about the positive uses, but I think it's important to address the reality. I mean, we can't sweep it under the rug and say it doesn't exist. And we can't put our headset on and say, I see nothing. Because it's real, but it's happening. It's going to happen. And so how do we, as the adults that are aware of it, before the masses come in and are clueless about how this works, how do we prepare and have warnings in place and support in place? And I don't have the answers.
Yeah, no, I'm actually tweeting that out to say and quoting you, technology is amoral. We have to remember that. You can't get mad at VR. You can't get mad at live streaming. We have to be social. A lot of people don't know this, but I worked in the social good for a very long time. I've even won recognition from the White House for my volunteer service with Special Olympics. And technology is immoral, but we as humans are, and so we bring our humanity, the good and the bad, on it. So that's why I try my hardest to bring the hardest for artists, and to bring people that I know are interested in showing like really cool stuff on there. I think that's really all we can do. There's always going to be money in doing villainous bullshit, but there's always going to be money in doing the right thing too.
That's tweetable right there, by the way. That's tweetable right there. There is, and as long as humans are the ones we're making these tools for, you're going to have the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so I, like you, I think that VR is amazing, and the positive applications for it are stunning. And I haven't even I've just seen videos from Scoble about AR, which is also a huge deal, augmented reality, layering a virtual reality on top of what we actually see. There's probably more practical applications for that.
So with AR, I was meeting with the Google team, the Google Cardboard team, which has grown 5 times its size just this year. Basically, I mean, their end goal is going to AR. So they're putting out the cardboard, of course, which is for the masses. That's for the early adopters, so that Google has the footing. But the way that the lead there was telling me about this. His name is Mike Rose. He got a bottle, and he said, just imagine if you're able to take this, and with your glasses, you're able to circle it, and then something pops up and says, do you like it? And you say no, and it says, we'll cross this off your list, and we'll suggest other things for the next time. And it keeps that, so it can be your Yelp. So AR is the real way that the future is going to matter. VR is just a stepping stone into AR, and it always will be.
Let's kind of define for those that, what is AR, what is augmented reality. Go ahead and try to synopsize what that actually, how does that work?
So VR is a bucket. VR, you are in completely, and you're able to see it. AR, I mean, hell, AR is even Snapchat. It's a layer over reality. So I'm able to see through my glasses something that looks like a tangible object that isn't, but it is layered on top of actual reality. So I can go on throughout my real life while in an augmented reality thing, while in virtual reality, Joel and I are walking into walls. Was that
So, for example, interior design. You walk into a house, an empty house, as an interior decorator, and using your AR glasses and whatever computer you use, you're able to place furniture. Yeah, that. No, not that one. That color. That fabric. Yes, there. Save. Painting there, lamp there, and create a model by actually being in the space that you can then print out, view as a video.
That's completely true. I mean, the interesting thing is you could have the most ornate and beautiful room in your house when people come in, and it literally has nothing in it. You know, maybe a few stickers that are cute to point it up, or I can have something on my shirt that is a tag that communicates with your augmented reality goggles that has something that blows up, that has a dinosaur, or that has my banner ad or something on it. You know, I mean, we have the scary thing where we can be completely immersed with so much information, and I think there's going to be a lot of people that just don't adopt it just because there's going to be so much freaking noise.
Do you see a future where, because privacy is going away, where somebody with, and we're all kind of tagged, so to speak, facial recognition works pretty well on Facebook, except when somebody uses one of my profile pictures to make a fake account and they can't figure that out. Facebook. Where we will walk down the street and through our glasses, we will see names over people.
Yeah.
And other information about them. You know, Barbara Jones, 38 years old, lives in, Arkansas. Just walking by people will be able to, by facial recognition, just know all this information about them.
I think that it will be hooked up to networks. You know, the networks are getting bigger. It's interesting because think about it this way, like Snapchat was recently, Facebook tried to buy them for what, $3 billion?
2, 3, maybe.
I think, and if you go back in time a few extra years, Google tried to buy Facebook for $15 billion. All these companies have so much money and so much stake in our identities. So are there going to be some people that are going to have a Facebook profile and some people that have, we're already branded like hell, like I'm all over. I'm turning into the NASCAR driver of friggin' social media, and that's annoying as shit.
Time for a pit stop.
Time for a pit stop in the social media tour. But yeah, I think that's possible. So imagine it like the Sims with the little green jewel above their heads and everything. That's a very likely thing, and I think that people will either turn it on or turn it off. If we're at a conference, we're going to see a lot of them on. We're going to see a lot of buzzing and jingles and bells and everything like that. So yeah,
you'd be able to block your own data from going out though, because of facial recognition. How do I block people from walking down the street and knowing who I am or data about me?
I have no idea. I don't know. Or maybe we should get into the mask business or something. But yeah,
I'm going to wear a Ryan Bell mask. And your snap code.
I legit have no way to come back and talk about that. Just don't do it. Just Joel, please don't.
We only need one. Here's one of the other, and this is lighthearted, just so you don't start crying again. But VR headsets mess with your hair.
That's true.
It's easy for you. Like mine, I take it off. Now imagine like women, right? They take a lot of time doing their hair. So they don't want to be putting those things on.
No, I agree. Sherry is, I think, running the Summit Live handle in here, and she said that she's not interested in VR until they get into just glasses, and she understands it very well. We talk about it all the time, and I think she put something out here that she put as a joke that's actually pretty amazing. She said, "Need to invent a special face lotion to block it." So Remember, there are those sprays that you can put on your license that are reflective that make it so that that the cameras can't pick those things up. Maybe maybe she's onto something. You never know.
Well, see, this is where we need to be thinking as entrepreneurs, right? And those that are looking for what need is going to need to be filled. And so
Right.
therapists, addiction centers for VR is a very real thing. There's going to be big money in it for the people who can serve it. Privacy blockers for real world applications, not blocking your privacy online, but out there in the grid.
So yeah, I'm already, and I don't even care. Like I have a lot of ideas. I share them out a lot, but I'm working on basically an excursion for people to go to unplug and to create, so that they're away from emails, away from things.
Real world excursion.
Real world excursion.
Where are we going?
I'll tell you more about it later. But I think that's kind of the future is being able to unplug. Personally, I go to a sensory deprivation tank with relative frequency because my life is completely filled with this and with that. So I think sensory deprivation tanks or just getting away, going into the woods or whatever, going on a camping trip is very important because humans have not had to make a million tiny decisions in minutes before in the history of humankind up until just recently. That's not what we're made for. And we need to realize that the stimuli, you can only take so much before it starts to take its toll.
Yeah, I don't disagree, and it's amazing how we can multitask even while we're doing this now. Like I saw somebody message me about a camera, and as you were talking, I popped over to Amazon, and I'm thinking about ordering this camera.
Which one?
The Alley.
The Alley. I don't know that one.
So Ryan, our friend Ryan Steinolfson, he said, don't buy the Ricoh Theta.
No, God, no.
Which is $400. He says, get this Alley. It's 4K. It's full 360. Let me drop a link to it right here. Pin that puppy.
I already got it. It looks nice. I just bought 4 of the Samsung Gear 360s.
Oh my gosh, there's so many things. I'm a big fan of getting out in the real world, and I'm a big fan of travel. I love the virtual travel on my Oculus. I love that you can go to experience 360 photos all over the world, but I really love getting out and experiencing the world and going to concerts. And VR is great fun, but the real world is better.
Yeah. No, this camera looks damn legit, man. It's got some serious things. You just have to worry about all these other things. So, I want to talk to Ryan about that because, it's important to put your hands on these things, or at least have somebody that has, because at that price, that does a lot of stuff. I'm about to put my hands on one. I'm this close to pushing the add to cart and trying this because it looks like the bomb ditty. Yeah, I'd say that it's pretty legit. It doesn't have batteries. Is it battery powered though, or is it constantly plug in?
That's a good question. It has a 9-volt AC/DC power adapter.
Okay, all right.
But there's got to be it's got to be rechargeable, wouldn't you think?
I don't know. It might not be. It might be something that was like repurposed. It might have originally been some kind of security camera that they quickly brought to market for this. I don't know. Or if it is just a camera like this, because like they're showing her, it's got a very small lens, which is okay, but it doesn't look like there's a protective cover over the main something wins, which kind of scares me. One, and if I can bring it, if I can't bring it to a concert or something, then it has no value to me. So if I can plug it to an external battery, that's fine, because I can plug it to a really big ass external battery like this Mama Jama. Look at the size of that bad boy.
Oh, is that the Ray Power? Is that this one? Is that this?
No, this is an old Ank. Look at this bad boy. Like, I can't get rid of it just because I love it so much. like I've got a bunch of other batteries, but this is like, I don't know, 2-year-old Anker Astro Pro. Still works.
I bought this sight unseen on Amazon and got great reviews, and then it arrived. And just to give you a point of reference, this is an iPhone 6.
Yeah.
So it's like too big to carry in my pocket. So then I went, and this just arrived today, and ordered one that is more manageable. Doesn't get the same amount of charge, but so now I need to ask Ryan, Periscope Ryan, if this thing, it doesn't say anything about battery, and that's a really good point.
So another thing, and Sherry just brought this up because we were talking about this while we were at VidCon. The Samsung Gear 360 has one flaw. Besides the fact that you have to go with only the S7, it's not open for iPhone or anything like that. I think that's the best thing on the market. But the ring around the camera itself is silver, so whenever something is hitting the light just right, it causes a halo effect that can't be stitched out, can't be fixed, and it ruins your entire shot. Can ruin your entire day just because you've got this big blue halo because it's reflecting right from outside of the lens, instead of it just, all it would have to be would be black. And honestly, I think they're ignoring it because they've got so many that they've already made, and so I'll say V2 will definitely be without that. So that's very kind of insider knowledge that only a few really nerdy people would have.
Knowledge. Well, dude, I really appreciate you joining me and talking VR, because we could do this offline anytime. Also, I'm totally stoked about it. Any final thoughts on this whole virtual reality?
No, it's interesting. We could go on for hours on this because there's so many people that are doing awesome things, but they don't have a lot of the that we know. Like, for instance, I have friends that are doing amazing things that are getting written up in Vogue, and they literally don't have a Twitter account. Vogue has 9.5 million followers, and then they're mentioning you in an article, and you don't have a Twitter account. Like, that's legit what's happening in the VR world.
That's goofy. That's goofy gooberness right there. That's what that is.
So really, like, that's just an example. But the point attached to that example is this. If you want to be involved in VR, find out somebody that's doing something cool and ask them how you can help. Because more than likely you'll be able to find that way and say, hey, what do you need? This is what I'm really good at. And give them like a succinct thing. Say, I'm really good at amplifying on social media, or I was CEO of this company, I'd like to help you organize, or something like that. I'd like to fund you, or whatever. But the point is, you can even tag along and help them like create art. You can be somebody that helps them set up or drive to them or something. Just put your ideas out there and put your hands out there and say, hey, I want to help. These are the ideas I have. And that's really where VR is right now. A lot of space.
Mr. Ryan A. Bell, founder of Summit Live, at Ryan_A_Bell on the Twitters, and show us your snap code.
R. Anderson Bell. R. Anderson Bell.
But show us your snap code just because it's fun.
Okay.
Snap that. I know you can't hear on Blab, but that's what it is. And on the Facebook's VR Salon is where the discussion about virtual reality is happening. Virtual reality is not the future. It is here now. and educating yourself about it and what the next steps are, I think is important.
You're the man, Joel. Comm.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And we will catch you on the virtual flippity flop,
Good job, man.
the other side of reality.